This is Carl Cole. Carl is 6 years old and was born in Southwest Michigan on September 22, 2010. In his life, he has been dealing with multiple medical complications, including Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a severe form of muscular dystrophy. And sadly, due to the cost of his treatments, his family has been struggling to afford everything that Carl needs to live with his condition. But how much does DMD treatment actually cost per year? $20,000? $70,000? $100,000? Well, according to Landfelt from the Journal of Neurology, there are many components that go into paying for treatment, even after insurance. For the typical family, each year, out-of-pocket costs for things such as aids, devices, and therapy add up to roughly $19,450. The insurance plan itself costs about $6,210. Insurance co-payments for things like tests and medications cost about $3,110. Income loss due to DMD is about $840, and finally, paid caregivers cost about $280. That adds up to a total cost of roughly $29,890 per year. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that the median household income in the United States is about $53,700. This makes the cost of treatment for DMD a potentially enormous economic burden for many families. But $29,890 is still less than $53,700, so that's okay, right? Well, remember that we have to pay for living costs. This includes costs for things like housing, transportation, food, and taxes. And according to the Economic Policy Institute, that gives us a mean total of $48,778. This, plus the $29,890 from earlier, pushes us over our median household income. So what does this mean for Carl and his family? For Carl, due to his family's limited finances, he has been left entirely in the care of his grandmother, who is responsible for transporting him to school, taking him to his doctor and specialist appointments, and organizing his medications. Needless to say, she loves him dearly and is doing everything she can to ensure his well-being. However, they were unable to afford a new car when their previous one broke down, making it almost impossible to reliably drive Carl to school and his appointments. His grandparents couldn't take on jobs in fear of being unable to look after their grandson, so his family had to fundraise on GoFundMe. Thankfully, they raised enough money to afford a used car for Carl. Carl is, of course, one of many low-income DMD patients. Each patient has their own set of financial hurdles that they need to overcome, and these financial barriers also have other effects on DMD patients and their families. For example, the cost of clinical visits and laboratory testing often results in a delayed diagnosis, or even keeps families from receiving a diagnosis at all. Caring for your child with DMD already creates an emotional burden, but the inability to properly finance your child's medical and non-medical needs can be especially stressful. Another consequence is that parents' judgment can be affected when enrolling their child in a clinical trial. Low-income parents may give their consent without fully understanding the potential consequences for their child if they see it as a potential cure or as the only way to get proper treatment. So, what can we do about this problem? Well, for one, we can look to foreign countries as potential models to modify our own healthcare system. For example, Italy's average out-of-pocket payments are roughly about $7,000 per year, compared to the US's $19,000. In addition, something almost everyone can do to help is vote. California's Proposition 61, which was on the ballot this year, had the potential to change how the California state government buys drugs from pharmaceutical companies. Remember that your vote counts. With our combined efforts, we can help low-income families with children like Carl overcome their financial difficulties and make healthcare more accessible for everyone.